We're miles up north. Joe's left me here on my own. This might not be great, but stick with us. It's Talk of the Town, episode 38. Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to Holker Street up here in the northwest. It's a long one this afternoon, but hopefully on the back of some good form, Crawly can run on and pick up some more important points this season. Now, I said I'm here on my own. A little bit of a lie. Joe's not here. Very apt replacement in Sam Gadsden. The man who fires the tweets, the man who does the website, everything you need to know. Sam's with us. Yeah. Sam, long trip, but it wasn't too bad.
Great fun on the way up. Great fun on the way up. We've a genius idea of hooking the TV up in the minivan. Worked an absolute treat. Football on the way up, soccer AM. Good trip.
And hopefully a good afternoon. Tuesday, I thought it was a kind of a battling game where both sides really looked. I thought Walsall probably looked better than maybe their league position suggested, and we could be in for a similar afternoon today where you cannot read too much into where Barrow lie in the table.
Yeah, no, I think I agree, and obviously you say you can't read too much into where they're on the table, but you look at their last three games, I think they've beaten top of the league, and they beat Walsall, and they beat who else?
Cheltenham as well. Cheltenham, Walsall,
and there is someone
and
else.
Mansfield in there as
Mansfield,
well.
Yeah. So obviously three teams that we've played, obviously apart from Cheltenham, the two teams that we played as well, and obviously we got a good result against Mansfield. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game today. I think the thing with Tuesday night is that we've played so many games. It's been relentless. Saturday, Tuesday. It's been absolutely relentless, and I think the general consensus gathered from that is you can see both teams were a little bit tired. Obviously, I think we've got after today, we've got Saturday, and then we've got until the next Saturday till we're off again. So it'll be a good break for the lads. But yeah,
back at home, of course, as well. So there's no travelling on the Friday. So it might be a good incentive for if John can say to the team, get 3 points today. Yeah, an extra day off to put your feet up. I'll really quickly run through the teams. It is a few changes for Crawly, like Sam said. Maybe a little bit of a reshuffle. Still Morris in goal. Frankham, McNerney, Tunnicliffe, Tony Craig comes back into the starting 11. Josh Wright is included, as well as Jake Heston, Tyler Jack Powell, Archie Davis, Tom Nichols, and James Tilley. So is that kind of what you're thinking, that maybe we need a few fresh faces in there? Tilley's probably earned a start first and foremost.
Oh yeah, Tilley's definitely earned a start. He's been very bright after coming on. Obviously, I think he probably would have been brought on a little bit later. Obviously, that unfortunate injury to Jake Keskiff, which means he's out of today's game. But yeah, Tilley's deserved his start. I think a lot of it's just sort of adapted to who we're playing as well. I think they got a very good sort of left back, very attacking. So I think Archie in there will be to sort of attack fire with fire, if you see what I mean. On the right, I think he might play in a more advanced role today, which would be really interesting to see, because when he sort of, before he started making a sort of run in the starting 11, he was coming off the bench and he was making that advanced role, and he was putting in a lot of dangerous crosses. And obviously, I think it's going to be Nichols up top on his own today, so that'd be good to see. And obviously, good to see Craig back as well.
Well, that's what's going to be my next point. Is defensively, we've said about how we thought Tony Craig would walk back into the team as soon as he's fit. Now he has come back in. He's not replacing Joe McNerney. He's been excellent in his absence. He comes in at left back, but he's left-footed, so naturally it's quite a nice fit. We've seen Dallison go out to left back as a centre half. Defensively, we've been really sound, and that's not a worrying sign at all that Craig comes back in. We've strengthened, if anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you look at our defensive record in the last few games, we haven't conceded that many goals. Obviously, last game was a penalty. Other than that, we kept a couple of clean sheets on the bounce. So I think, yeah, definitely solid. Obviously, George Frankham's done an incredible job at left back these last few games, considering he's normally we see him either step up to the midfield or play right back, and I think he'll probably go back to right back today. And obviously we see Archie move up a bit more, but yeah, definitely more solid, I think.
Exactly. So a lot's changed since the last time we played at Barrow, but like we did 2 weeks ago away up at Tranmere, we're looking for a league double, as back before Christmas we were on the end of a 4-2 win at the People's Pension Stadium.
Was saving that. By Clark. Also Debbie, the striker back doing his defensive duties. On well, Gordon, who's shown some nice touches. Be Passage of play. Sinclair hasn't managed to clean up. Here's Nichols. Shot deflected and not quite turned in. What a chance for Ashley Nadesan. I expected him to score, albeit it was an awkward height for him. He last won 4 straight league games in a row. Last exactly 3 years ago, from January to February in 2018. Frankham crosses, header well saved by Roberts. Nadesan again, could have had 2 already. It's a much better effort than when he was through on goal before. Good clean header. Sidebe trying to get there. Morris does. Oh, is that a foul? Referee Tim Robinson says yes, and a yellow card for the visiting skipper James Clark. Straight into the wall. Now nodded down. Bad cross and headed wide. That was a good chance. Really good opportunity for Crawly here. A long throw. Not a bullet, more of a floated one. It's allowed to bounce, and then the overhead kick off the bar. That was magnificent from Caelan Lavery. So close. After it was kept alive by Max Melbourne. They've won the last 3 games in this head-to-head Walsall. Best ever run in it. Make it 4 tonight. It's crossed in all the way through and headed straight at Roberts. The marking was non-existent from Walsall there. So winless in their last 7 in the league since a 3-1 win at Port Vale on the 23rd of February. In a home form that's been the big problem. Is that a penalty? Osadebe for 1-0. Scores! His first goal for Walsall. Winless in their last 7, but maybe on their way to breaking that duck. 10 minutes into the second half. The man who joined from Macclesfield at the start of this season puts Walsall ahead. Come on, we're not for goal. Come on, back on it. 1-0 to the visitors. Aggressive play from Tilly. Tunnicliffe keeps it alive. And that was a foul. Set piece chance. Powell just hacked at. Powell to take the free kick. Only half away. Back in by Davies. The keeper's come a long way. That's a penalty. Liam Roberts flies out of his goal. And he absolutely cleans out Jordan Tunnicliffe in the process. Tim Robinson points to the spot. 97th minute, Tom Nichols. Effectively for a point. Oh, what a penalty! That is superb. A better spot kick you will not see this season. His 15th goal of the campaign. His 11th in the league. And he won't score many more valuable. It effectively guarantees a point for Crawley Town, surely.
So our production team, the filming company, get paid a lot of money to be here, and yet when I queue up so delightfully to play the highlights from the last time we played Barrow, and they give you the Walsall game on Tuesday night, that's on their head. It's not on mine. We'll get to the Barrow highlights in a little bit, but for the moment, Sam and I have been joined by the GM, Tom Allman. Tom was saying it was actually quite a friendly trip up here. I think sometimes you look at Barrow and go, "Whoa, it's a tricky one, that one." But it was obviously nice to come off the back of 3 home games in a row. You feel nice and refreshed almost in a way. The players might not feel it, but we certainly do.
Well, it's nice and fresh out here. It feels nice and fresh out here.
You've got a nice big coat on. It's good to see.
No, yeah, you're right. The 3 home games on the trot would nice to be back to home comforts, I suppose, and a good return point-wise. And then, yeah, as we've said, I think today's an important game for the rest of the season, really, and that I think it's going to maybe shape our run in for the next couple of, if we can pick up 3 points here, obviously better than one, but I think just coming away from here with something to show would be a good result this afternoon.
Because it's easy to look at their league position and put 3 points straight on the board for Crawly. It's not going to be as simple as that, is it?
No, and as John said, with whoever we played on Tuesday night, I can't remember. Walsall, yeah. Everyone there's no one at this point in the season that isn't playing for something yet. I don't think we're that far down the line yet whereby the season's done and dusted in terms of who's going up, who's going down. Everyone's got something to play for. And as you say, league position-wise, these lot are obviously fighting for their lives. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I think, their form-wise, they're flying at the moment. But equally, our form's been pretty decent of late, and I think we've proved that on our day, we can be a match for anyone.
And Sam and I touched on it right at the top. It's going to be important after this that we've got the no midweek fixture to really regroup, get back on the training ground, recover really well. So the players might be almost see this, and we said maybe they can be teased in. You get an extra day off, things like the kind of incentives within to go. Look, let's get something today, and you can have a really nice week and get going again before the home game next Saturday.
Yeah, I think you're right. The recovery is obviously a massive part of it, and with all the sports science and everything that goes into a football club nowadays, yeah, you're right. I think obviously the physical side of it is important, but I just think mentally as well to have a clear week in inverted commas of it's not a clear week in the sense that they're not going to be sat around with their feet up, but as you say, if we can get something today and then you've got that clear week and then a game again back home on the Saturday, again it can put us in a really good stead. And I think it's just important that we keep there is a good vibe around the club at the moment, and I think it's important we keep that going for as long as we can. And
the lineup is a handful of changes. Josh Wright comes in, Tony Craig comes back, and James Tilley gets a start for his impressive showings off the bench. So we've refreshed in kind of key areas, but we're by no means weakening the starting 11.
Well, I mean, someone watching, I'm thinking in my head, Barney, someone will know how many Football League appearances Josh Wright and Tony Craig have got between them. So two more than experienced players coming in, and equally James Tilley. He's been good coming off the bench recently. Obviously got his goal against Mansfield. Trying to think back to when the game's coming all the time, but yeah, he's looked really fresh and has been really exciting down the wing. So yeah, hopefully he can start well today and add to his tally.
And on the flip side, I know maybe it's a little bit harsh. You look at his performances week in, week out, that he's always a 7 out of 10 minimum. Ashley Nadesan, these are the kind of games where sometimes you might have to suck it up, see that you're on the bench, but he could have a great impact in the last half an hour when people are getting leggy.
Yeah, I think as long as Nad is named in the squad, I think anyone, we all sit and say on the bus on our way out that he can certainly have an impact on any game that he's involved in. If that's off the bench, today, so be it. But we saw at Forest Green, he came on in that second half and completely sort of changed the game. We'd obviously got the goal in the first half, but his pace in behind is so dangerous that all he needs to do is hit the channels, and he's a threat for any defence.
And Sam, I'll bring you in. When we went away to Grimsby a few weeks ago, again, that's one where we all wanted to think that we can go on and just get 3 points here. And the game, and I can see it being similar today. It's very windy, the ground's very open. It might not be the prettiest to watch in a way.
No, and I think that's probably been the story of a lot of Barrow's games this season, to be honest. It's not been pretty. Obviously, I know they've hit some form now, but I can imagine before that, the games here, the late games on a Tuesday night, it's not been pretty. Obviously, as you say, it's freezing, it's windy. It's always going to be difficult, and obviously it was like that at Grimsby as well. But touching on sort of what Tom said, teams like Barrow and Grimsby, they're fighting for their lives. Like Grimsby needed that win. That's given them some sort of hope. Obviously, I'm not saying we don't need the wins, but I feel like Barrow can sense 3 points from us today. Not saying that they're going to get it, but they're looking at their recent form and they're going, we can beat these, but we've just got to show what we can do. We've put some really good performances. I mean, you don't go to places like Tranmere, get a 1-0 win, and then see them at Wembley a few days later and not realise what a good achievement that is.
Exactly. And Tom, away kind of from what's going on here today at the club, there's been friendlies midweek for the players that aren't involved, and it's a platform for them to showcase to the management and the coaching staff what they're about. How important has it been, even within the pandemic, to be able to get these friendlies in now and make use of the facilities at the training grounds to really keep the whole squad fresh and fit?
Well, I think the fact that Raf's on the bench today is proof in the pudding of the benefits to that. Aside from the youth development, obviously a fact, we have got a big squad. But fundamentally, we can't name all of those in our match day selection. So there are people out there that need minutes, need games. And John's spoken about it quite frequently this season. We do need everyone. And again, it's testament that Joe Mack's come in. I think this is what now, 4th, 5th game on the trot, something like that. But the fact that he was kept ticking over when Tony and Tony were at the back means that he has been able to slot in seamlessly. And again, as I say, yeah, Raf coming to the team, you know, it's brilliant for the club that we can now start having these youngsters coming in. And yeah, having those pre-season, well, not pre-season games, but the friendlies, yeah, are brilliant. And as you say, it means it's hopefully the start of a bit of a production line for us.
Exactly, and Sam touched on it that we did the double over Tranmere a couple of weeks ago. I teased it at the very top. Now Nick's going to press the right button, and before we try and go on and get another league double under our belt here at Barrow this afternoon, let's look back at how we beat them earlier on in the season at the People's Pension Stadium.
Chases on for James. Casual touch away by Morris. Now looking to orchestrate in midfield. Dallison lifts one forward. Obvious target is Watters, as is so often the case. Powell now dominating possession here, Crawly, as you might expect at home. Barrow sitting very deep. Watters on the run here, into the penalty area, and Watters does what he does best. Chucks the ball under the keeper, Dixon, and Crawly have the lead. Superb strength shown here by Watters to brush off the defender, and a lovely finish. Away goes Brown, does well to evade the challenge of Frost. He's into the penalty area here. Big shout for a penalty. Brown goes down. Well, there are a few players reacting in a way that the referee will not agree with here. And it will be interesting to see what happens in the conversation between the referee and the assistant. There's a long discussion here, and after that long discussion, it will be a penalty for Barrow. And in the build-up, referee not happy with the words from Connor Brown, and he'll be booked here. We'll finally get this penalty then. Essenthaler sends the ball into the area. Oh, it's back off for the crossbar and turned in by guess who? Max Watters, right place, right time to level things up. Barrow ahead for 8 minutes. Cruel blow here for the keeper as the ball comes back off of the bar from the header of Nichols. And Watters steps up. Here is Brown, he's giving the ball away. He's chasing after it, slides in. Barrow carry the ball forwards. Brown already on a yellow card here. It's his second of the game, and he's dismissed by the referee. Cisse drives into the wide area, to the edge of the box. A chance here for Crawly. That's a clumsy challenge, and it's a penalty for the home side. Absolutely no need for this challenge. Platt charging in. And now Crawly, with 9 minutes remaining, have the opportunity from the spot. Here is Nichols. Nichols sends the keeper the wrong way. Looks like he sent Crawly to victory tonight. Long ball forward from Barrow seems to be the best target as they try to get back into the game. Lifted away, and they've left themselves exposed at the back, and forward comes Nardison. Nice square pass, and there's the hat-trick for Watters. 21-year-olds makes it 12 goals now in League Two. What a signing he's proving to be. great afternoon for the...
Now, you might be sitting at home watching this thinking, why is my Wi-Fi playing up? Why isn't Talk of the Town running as smoothly as it does every single game? Well, actually, no, it's our end. It's because glorious travel Ken came around the back of the production area, tripping up over the Wi-Fi cable, unplugging us, and we were briefly off air. But we're back now. And we're joined by, I really apologise, I've forgotten your name. Matt from Hospital Radio for Barrow.
Yep.
Now, we were kind of chatting on the way up, a long journey, so we have plenty of time to run through this. It looks like, on paper, people go, oh, you've got Barrow, yeah, tick, 3 points. But the run in the last few weeks has been so impressive.
It's been amazing. We about 4 weeks ago, we were almost dead and buried, and we were expecting a sad trip back to the National League. But Rob Kelly's just got them gelling, fighting for the shirt, fighting for every point in the last 3 games, 3 clean sheets, slight change in formation, and that belief's there. Us as supporters believe we can do it now, and going to Cheltenham on Tuesday night and expecting a hammering. We would have expected a draw, or we would like to draw, but to go there and we're comfortable as well. They defended amazingly well, and fist pumping. There's a bit of togetherness there, and it's promising, very promising.
Obviously, you mentioned that formation change. Would you put that as the point of success, really? Like how it's changed? Is that what you think's spurred this?
The biggest challenge they had was Michael Jolly came in just before Christmas, made obscene amount of changes. 9 players came in within a fortnight. It's impossible, even in any walk of life, to get, even in the workplace, to get people expected to gel. What since the changes, Rob Kelly's just gone back to basics. He's got the players in the right positions, and it's amazing what can happen once you get a couple of results. The second half against Mansfield, it was like today. It was a cold day, really blustery. It looked like it was going to be a 0-0, and we just got a goal, and that goal just gave them that belief, and they've kicked on since then.
And obviously, it's been a roller coaster of a season for you. How's it been since right back at the start, when Ian Everts got you promoted back to the Football League, and then all of a sudden the summer all change, and you're finding yourselves back in League 2 under completely new management, and it didn't start off so
it's a shame. I was on BBC on Tuesday night after the Cheltenham game, and we said that staying up this season will be probably greater than winning the title last season, because we were winning the league comfortably. We all stopped. We didn't even get a chance to celebrate with the team. We dreamt of that final whistle, everyone running on the pitch. It didn't happen. We waited patiently for the decision. We got the result we wanted, promotion, and sadly the next day Ian Everett said, thank you very much, I'm going to Bolton. So you hope that the board of directors will get the right appointment. We started the season okay, but we just couldn't kill teams off. The step up just wasn't right, and unfortunately David Dunn didn't quite make the grade. And they've just chopped and changed, huffed and puffed, and you started to think, unfortunately, it's not going to happen, and the fans aren't going to see Football League after 48 years. And then suddenly, overnight almost, the belief is there. And I do believe if we stay up this season, the changes that they're going to do to the ground and the infrastructure, get the fans back, it'd be a marvellous achievement.
Yes, yeah, so you mentioned, if you can stay, that, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, are you 5 points at the moment? I think... Have they got a game in hand, or have you got the games in hand?
We've got 2 games in hand on Southend, and 1 game in hand over Grimsby, and we play Grimsby here on Tuesday night. So these next 2 matches could really put some daylight between the bottom 2, and we're catching the likes of Port Vale and Colchester. So, daft as it is, we could have been in the bottom 2 struggling, or moving up the table, and we can relax then. And hopefully the players, you can see they're not as tense. They seem happy. They went to Cheltenham expecting potentially a defeat, you'd expect to against the top team in the league, but they went there in the second half and were magnificent. So hopefully it continues today.
And Crawly fans watching at home, what can they necessarily expect from Barrow this afternoon? I think it's hard to get. The ground's very open. It is, like you said, it's very windy. So
it is,
back of my mind, it might not be the prettiest game.
Depending on the direction of the tide. So I think the tide is coming in this morning. You get a strong wind. Comes right across the ground towards this end.
I can feel it, yeah.
You imagine that the roof was put on behind that goal in the summer, and obviously no fans have had to. Luckily, I haven't got to experience it yet, but normally that was a horrific end to attack. Barrow very packed in the midfield. Jason Taylor, he was actually furloughed during the Christmas period under the previous regime. He's come back into the side. He's a leader, solid. Heart on the sleeve, gets stuck in. We've got 2 nice wing backs that like to get down the flanks, delivering balls in for Scott Quigley. So Crawly won't have an easy afternoon. I'm sure Barrow will be wanting to build on those 3 wins, and it'll be a tough game.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of Crawly fans are probably going to expect a tough game. Just sort of looking at those 3.
I can say, we've been very tight at the back. I can almost again see this being 1-0 either way, 0-0. It's going to be. I think it'll be.
Could be decided by another late goal. Yeah.
Sort of very quickly. you've mentioned one key name in there up front, Quigley, obviously the really impressive last season. How's he been this season? How's he found his feet in the football league?
He's been very frustrated. It gives 110%. You know, it's exactly the centre forward that every supporter wants in their squad. Unfortunately, he wasn't getting the service, and the team was struggling at the back. So, you know, for an hour of the game, you're in the game, and then you could give a daft goal away. Heads go down. He's doing well at the moment, and I think he's thriving on the momentum that the team have got. You know, if we're not conceding at the back, more of a chance up front. We've also got Luke James as well. He's a busy player, and if them two can gel early on, you know, they can make things happen.
Yeah. Quick score prediction from you?
I'm going to go 2-1 Barrow.
2-1 Barrow, yeah. I'm still waiting for someone to come in here and really tip us up a Crawly win. Thank you very much. Right, let's very quickly just head to the sponsors and let's check out a quick ad from the People's Pension.
Since 2017, £30 million has been lost to pension scammers. That's about 26,000 Premier League season tickets. During these uncertain times, it's more important than ever to defend your hard-earned money. Be on the ball to anyone contacting you out of the blue. Find out more about pension scams and how to avoid them by visiting our website.
Right, we brought you the lineup right at the top of the show. Very quickly again, I'll just run through it. It's Morris and Frankham. Craig comes back in. We think he's going to go over to left back. Tunnicliffe and McNerney, the two centre halves in midfield. Josh Wright comes in for a start, as in there as well as Jake Hessenthaler and Jack Powell. And up front, Tom Nichols on his own with James Tilley one side, and we believe Archie Davis on the right. And that's where we're kind of going to start here as we pick a few key players out. I've personally been really impressed with Archie Davis defensively, and I find his deliveries into the box are really good, and he's got a real quick turn of pace.
Yeah, no, I think the thing with Archie is, you got to remember, this is his first season, not in men's football obviously, but his first season in like the EFL. He had to have time to adapt at the start, but he's looking a real player at the moment, like you say, real turn of pace. I think when he gets forward, a lot of the home games we've had recently, he's had so much space on the right. He's got such a good cross on him. I think with someone like Nichols up top on his own today, it's going to work really well.
And Tommy, obviously, Sam led it on nicely there. Nichols on his own up front. I always find he's a player that he's in the wars, and you always feel like he's getting beaten up every single week. He's such a good grafter. It's going to be even harder for him this afternoon when he's on his own. But we've been to places like Forest Green and Bolton where he's done this before, and you trust him up there.
Listen, I think Nichols is the type of player, you just put him in any team and he puts a shift in. I think I've never seen him play badly at all this whole season, and that speaks volumes. He's just been an incredible player. Nada's obviously out today. You know, Nichols has played on his own before up top against Forest Green and played incredibly well, got a brace. And look, I think the likes of Archie Davis, James Tilley, they're really direct wingers. They move forward, they try and get crosses into the box. And listen, we'll have three central midfielders out there as well today to try and pounce and get in there as well.
Yeah, I think that'll be key. And obviously we said about the McNerney and the Tony Craig kind of who would start. We've got both of them, and credit to Joe McNerney.
Yeah, when Craig came out, obviously he was a strong favourite. I think he'd probably started all of the games this season, maybe bar a few, and you probably think it's not going to be long till he's back inside. But Joe Matt's coming in, he's been absolutely incredible. A complete rock at the back. We spoke to John after, I think the first game he came back, and we said how impressive he was, and he said he's just such an experienced defender. He knows when to clear it, he knows when to head it, he knows when the time is right to just hoof one down the end of the pitch. He's been so impressive.
And we believe you two caught up.
Yes, we did. We spoke to Joe. Well, Tom spoke to Joe in the week. We got his thoughts heading into this game, and we also got him to ask some fan questions as well. So we'll head to that now.
Joe, thanks for talking. First of all, Saturday, a long haul trip up to Barrow. What are your thoughts heading into that one?
Yeah, it'll be a test. Obviously, it's probably one of the longest ones, if not the longest of the season. But we've been looking forward to it. Been preparing for it for a little while. Just part of playing in League Two. So yeah, it'll be a long old trip, and hopefully we can come back with some points.
We've had a real tough run in as of late, but 10 points out of a possible 12, and then in the last 4 games, must be delighted with that.
Yeah, we're in good form. Not scoring bundles of goals, but keeping clean sheets. And that's a whole team effort. We've been brilliant at that, and hopefully we can continue that on Saturday.
Obviously a very long away day, but we've got some fan questions, and one does include, what's your favourite away day in a Crawly shirt so far? If you could pick one out, it's quite a difficult one.
Favourite away day, one of the win. I mean, to be fair, actually, my favourite would probably have been the Wolves game real early on in my career at Crawly. My first League Cup game. First League Cup or second League Cup game, but yeah, at Molineux was quite an experience. We lost 2-1, but it was quite a big stadium. Nice.
And we'll move on. Obviously, we've got another question from Tom Jones. He says, best Crawley Town memory. Generally, it's another very difficult one. If you can narrow it down,
a lot of them would probably be off the pitch with some of the lads.
We'll go on the pitch first.
Best Crawley Town memory, again, first goal, maybe a bit boring, but probably first goal for Crawley against Oxford. We went on to lose 5-1, so it wasn't the best day, but yes, first league goal was quite nice.
And obviously, before the game, you need to get that nutrition in. What's your favourite pre-match snack, pre-match meal? What do you normally eat on a match day?
Varies. Weetabix, maybe. Bit of yoghurt with some fruit, pineapple, maybe. Yeah.
And we know we've had a very good start to the season. We're nearly towards the end now, but where personally would you want to finish in the table, and what's the goals for yourself and for the team for the rest of the season, really?
I think the goal is always to finish higher up than we did the season before.
Yeah.
That was 13th last year, so we want to be top half, obviously. We've had a great run. We've given ourselves a great chance over the last few games. The playoffs are, sort of you can look at them in the distance, and if we were to put a fantastic run together, maybe we could sneak in. But for me, it's about being beating where we were last year. So top half would be good for us, and maybe a little push late on, keep it exciting.
We've been lucky to have a lot of home games recently, and obviously a friendly here the other day, but some long haul trips now. Obviously Barrow, we've got Carlisle coming up. What's it like on a long haul trip away with the lads? How does it kind of go? What's the day?
It's it's not too bad. We've got a nice coach. We're quite lucky with that. We've got a good little card school that we basically play from the minute we get on until the minute we get off. So the away games, it's like 4 or 5 hours of cards. Not playing for too much money, otherwise it can get a bit painful for us. But basically that's my trip up. A few of the lads have got PlayStations on there. A few of the lads
I've seen that.
Music, watching films. So yeah, the coach is really nice, and as long as there's not so much traffic, which we've been quite lucky with this season, it doesn't take too long.
Cheers, Joe. Thanks for talking. Thank you.
Worries.
Yes, welcome back. Joined now by CEO Erdem Konya. Erdem, it's cold, it's windy. We're playing a team that are scrapping for their lives down the bottom end of the table. What are you expecting from this afternoon?
Definitely cold and windy, I'll give you that. I expect a tough game because it's a side who's just beaten Cheltenham. They've been doing all right. They've got good forwards that were scored last year. Quigley's a good player, so it's going to be a good test for us, and we just got to give it our all.
Obviously, it's slightly changed, XI. What do you make of it today?
I think it's a positive change, to be honest with you. I think the gaffer's good at tactics, and he's always good at the lineups, and I think it's a positive. It's not positive in a 4-4-2, but it's positive in the sense of resting players. We've had so many games, and we've got so many games coming. Tough trips ahead again, so I genuinely think it's a good starting lineup.
There's been lots of changes at Barrow with their management. I think they're on their third manager or something like that of the season. Is it nice sometimes now that we can look at it and we go, we're very stable, and you know what I mean? We're not one of those clubs that are changing managers. We're very settled, and everyone's buying into what's going on at Crawley.
Yeah, I mean, like we said the other day, continuity and longevity in football is key, and I think we've got that. And now we have to keep working on that and hopefully building on something and trying to protect the core of the squad, and accordingly try and better ourselves for next season, or try to keep on progressing, because that's what this football club firstly needs to survive, obviously, as an EFL club. That's the minimum expectation for all of us, and then if we can build on that, that's fantastic, and we've got the right group to do that.
I think one brilliant thing today, obviously, I know Tom almost said he's on the bench, but he's not, but Raf's travelled with the squad today. Yeah. Really impressed in the friendly against Woking in the week, and it's good for him to get sort of the experience like this, coming up, warming up with the lads. Should one of them get injured, obviously step up into the bench, but he's not too far away from the first team now, you sort of sense.
No, look, I mean, I told Tom that he was on the team, so that's my fault. I misinformed him, so I apologise. But to be fair, Raf, it shows continuity once again, and the Woking game was the first time in 5 years I've seen so many teenagers playing for a Crawley first team in a friendly, and it was very pleasing, and it was an important moment for the club that there's a youth coming through, and it's not just Raf. You got young Simon around. There's a few of them. Zaid's 19, so it's a very there's a good young stock, and hopefully next season, if it can come into fruition, it can be very good for us.
And how important have those games been in the friendlies? Because you can't loan young players out to anywhere below the National League at the moment. So how key is it to be able to watch them in 11v11 action and get them some important minutes against some good sides?
Yeah, once again, I mean, in pre-season, the gaffer said he wanted to play friendlies all the time. So the players that weren't playing at the time had fitness in their legs. And now the youngsters are going to be playing continuously. I think it's a fantastic move by the gaffer and the management. And it's something that excites me because to have the youth coming through and getting minutes in their legs is, you know, when it comes down to the crunch and they can get on the pitch, it's going to be fantastic for us. I mean, it's a big positive, big positive.
I think also the thing with those friendlies is just not just for the players, but for some of the staff as well. Obviously, people like Young, who obviously takes those games. Those games are quite refreshing in a way. It's sort of not looking away from the league, but it's just a sort of step back, and we've got a big squad, like we've said so many times this season. It's just good to see what some of the other players can do.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you make a very good point with Youngie and Bully, because they're senior players that have been here for years. They know what this club demands. They know what winning means to this club and how important EFL is and progressing in this football club. And they're important pillars of the club. And that's once again the gaffer who he's having that transition of transitioning these older players, senior players, into a coaching role, demanding and teaching the youngers what it means to play for this football club. And I think that if it runs from the top to bottom in the football department, that can only tick a box for us. It's only a positive. I genuinely believe that.
And just finally, after today, we're at home next Saturday, but it's a midweek with no Tuesday night fixture, which could be very important. It could be very important for squad freshness, because the following week we've got Carlisle away on the Tuesday night and Scunthorpe away on the Friday. So next week could be a really important week for us.
Yeah, I think it's important that we rest up a little bit, because like you said, you've got Carlisle coming on Tuesday, which is a similar trip to today, which is a trek. And then we've got on Friday, we've got Scunthorpe, which is another trek, obviously. So it's going to be a good test for us. But look, like I said since the beginning of the season, we're game for anyone, you know, and it's a top group of lads. And we just got to keep going, keep believing that, not believing in ourselves as we do, but just trying to do the best we can. We just got to keep performing at our best.
Now, as we've said before, this fine quality production is brought to you by the filming company. So let's hear what they can offer you or your business. So thanks there to the filming company, and thanks as well to Mr. Declutter, who sponsored the show, pay for this week in, week out. Wouldn't be able to do it without them. If you've got garages, if you've got empty spaces to clean, get hold of Mr. Declutter. Mention you're a Crawly fan, mention you watch Talk of the Town, and they might chuck a cheeky discount in as well. Lads, a few minutes before we wrap up, let's have a few score predictions. What do we think is going to happen? Personally, I can just see it being a real close one, kind of one of those ones where we'll probably go into the last half hour of the game, and I'll be surprised if there's more than a goal in it.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, like you say, if it wasn't settled by a goal that comes in the last 10 minutes. It's not just us that's been scoring late. Barrow left it late in their away game against Walsall. Both sides have been scoring late. I think, like you say, it's going to be a real scrappy game. But I'm going to go 1-0 Crawly, last 2 minutes. Tom Nichols, trademarks, standard.
I'm a bit more positive.
Oh, here we go.
I think we're going to play. I think we're going to play well. I think we've got a very solid defence today. I've actually been watching the lads warm up, and I think it's more of a 3 at the back with Tony in the middle. I think we've got a really strong outfit. I'm really excited to see Archie Davis back in the team and playing in right midfield. I want to say 2-0 today. And I think Davies is going to score his first for the Reds, so that's my bold prediction.
It's a big prediction from the lads, and you can follow the game in about 10 minutes' time. I'll be jumping on the iFollow commentary with the man who ruins the Wi-Fi connection, Travel Ken. But one thing left to say, lads, all together. 1, 2, 3. Come on, you Reds!
Follow in your heart, in spirit, in soul. You make every tackle, score every goal. You're part of it, wherever you are in the world. From the first minute until the last kick. Victories, heartbreaks. You're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you, there is only one. Abiding loyalty, togetherness that is second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal. With access to live stream games and matchday commentary, with coverage spanning the globe. Behind the scene content, newsletters and match highlights. There is no better way for you to get closer to your club. And with iFollow sales supporting them, no better way to show your love. When you can't be there with iFollow.
What a show! If you enjoyed it as much as we did, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon so you can be notified about when we are next live here from Talk of the Town. Make sure you don't ever miss an episode, subscribe, hit the bell, and we will see you again very soon.